So here we are, the third and final entry into the interview with Joppa, and buckle in because this is kind of a long one. It is the longest one so far, but it's got some really interesting tidbits in here. A lot of stuff on things like some simple things like, you know, itemization and humanoid NPCs, as well as things that are a bit more well known but still important to the game, like how they're going about balancing mana regeneration and why it's important to make even tactical decisions with, well, I mean, how long you sit. We even, to my joy, get to talk a little bit about necromancers. No crazy beans or anything. I don't want to get your hopes up, but we do get to talk about necromancers a little bit. My favorite class. I dressed up in cosplay for that class a while back. Anyway, moving on because we don't need to revisit that.
Going with the wrong DPS could be a
grave mistake.
We've all seen the DPS that like to ghost the group.
The things I did for views. And still will. But in the video, we also get to do a little bit of exploration, get to see a little bit more of the like prettier areas of AVP, and get a little bit of lore, a couple little tidbits, a couple little hints, some things that I didn't know about, and really it got me a little bit interested. And on that note, probably the most important part of the video will also be tied to lore, because I asked Joppa directly about the perception system and where, like, basically what's going on with the perception system and what we can expect from it. Because to me, the perception system is such a hugely important part of what made me drawn to Pantheon in the first place. I also learned a little bit of why Minus was so scared of bears in Pantheon too, but yeah, just buckle in because it's a long one. And yeah, also, I guess if you didn't miss the other video, there's a giveaway. There's a giveaway in this one for a Pantheon supporter pledge. And more details on that in just a little bit. When I was a kid, oh, you can see some of the spider. Oh, what is that thing?
I was gonna say, do you want to? Do you want to?
Oh shit!
Talk to it?
Talk to it?
I would not do that. I actually wouldn't talk to it. No.
I have not seen that before. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, I
don't want to get too close, but oh no!
Okay, there. Yep. It's fine.
Look, you know what? He's friendly.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
So I've noticed one thing that y'all have been doing, which I'm kind of showing right now, is that the humanoid creatures will be dropping more items. Is that part of the design philosophy? Because I mean, it's like they already show, like when they have a weapon, right? They show it on their person kind of thing. But this idea of like getting gear through multiple ways, because crafting has been like one of the big ways that's been having a lot of work done on it for a while now by Nefel. But it seems like the last couple, starting with before, I think even before season 1, stuff started to be dropping off of the humanoid creatures and making them in some ways more desirable to kill. So if you're playing the game, you might there's more risk at what we're doing right now with the Gadai than say some of the Panthers out here if we were higher level. But the Panthers won't drop pants. I mean
that we know of anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. So is the question in that is it intentional that we're pushing the humanoids to be a more challenging and potentially more rewarding target?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, fundamentally, humanoid NPCs are more fun to fight. They're more enjoyable to fight. We have, as designers, a little bit more leeway to kind of push their ability kits and their behaviors in more interesting directions. Not always the case, but as a general rule, they are just more interesting to fight. And
aggro.
They also have. Ooh, nice. This is level 9.
I'll hide behind you.
Let's see what we can do here. I just want to vindicate any person watching this who has reported how egregious the visual bug is with shields and health, because one of the reasons that has contributed to your multiple deaths in our short time here together so far is because I keep looking at your nameplate and seeing this nice full red shield bar.
Oh, okay.
Thinking,
Yeah.
oh well, he's fine.
Yeah.
And then you're not fine. You're not even close to fine, actually. And then things happen. So that is why it's good to play the game that you're making, because it's one thing to read reports, it's another thing to get in there yourself and say, man, this is terrible. Like, this is killing me, and we need to get that fixed. Anyway, so yes, the humanoids are more fun to engage with, and because they're humanoid, they do have kind of a believable, makes sense reason for dropping things that might be on the surface more valuable. You're not going to get, like you said, a pair of pants from a panther, or a chainmail coif from a bat. But the goal, though, is not is to have reasons for hunting animals or creatures, or things that aren't bipedal humanoids as well in their own right. And but kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, it's not always, our goal is not to make everything even. Our goal is not to make everything feel like it's just as valuable to take on as something else. So it's kind of by design that there's a little bit of that discrepancy going on in the different targets. But ultimately, there should be, whether it's through various different crafting professions, whether it's through quests, there should be reasons along the way to engage with most things, even if it's just periodically.
Yeah. And then adding in things like, I haven't seen many of them, but I believe there's a named bunny as well. I have seen the named wolf back in King's Reach as well. So there's other reasons too for non-humanoids. Oh, we got two.
You're gonna need to burn this one down as fast as you can, and I will keep you alive, hopefully.
Okay, so this is where a good point where I can use overcharge. Although I don't think I had many shock things. There we go. Dead.
Nice.
Okay, so this is like a question that I've been having is it more beneficial to rest sometimes, and is that the goal? Because I have no mana right now, or should I just melee as a wizard?
Oh, definitely want it to be more beneficial to rest if you're a casting class of some kind. We do have weapon techniques that restore mana.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if you have one of those yet.
I don't think so.
Based on your weapon skill, but we do have that option in case you need a little quick kind of burst of mana. It should be a 20% mana bump. But yeah, I mean, ultimately sitting down, resting, especially in like a larger group situation where there's more characters able to DPS and kind of keep chunking the thing down. For sure. And that's part of why resting works the way that it does, and why it ramps up over time, because it's meant to, as with most things that we try to do, the decision of when to stop resting to stand up and cast matters, because after you've been resting for a period of time, your ticks are growing over time the longer you rest. So how much mana you're getting back per tick is directly proportionate to how long you've been resting. So the decision to stop resting, also a meaningful one.
Well, yeah, I mean, even just now, so I was resting, right? And I was wondering, did I make a mistake by standing up too soon? Because I only had, I think, 2 nukes that I could use, and then I had to resort to the sword. So I was just hovering over the lightning slash ability, hoping that it came up so I could use it. But it's I think it's right now, I think it's striking a balance. Obviously, there needs to be some more tuning, I think. Towards like the caster DPS, but I like that there's even a tactical decision in when to rest, because instead of it just being in, when it came to older games that are obviously an inspiration for Pantheon, there was a lot of just, okay, I just sit, So I cast a nuke and then I sit. And then the only thing you had to really worry about was, did I cast the nuke, wait long enough before sitting, before pulling extra aggro to me? And so I like that there's more of a consideration of, well, I can do this and get some DPS. But if I sit and if I sit longer, I get back casting time.
That's it. And I'm glad to hear that it feels that way. That's definitely the goal, and the more we can push it in that direction, the better.
I think you're going to get lots of people theory crafting that too. Well, no, actually, if you have a sword, you can do this, so it's better to do it this way.
Yeah. Those are fun. Those are fun conversations to see and read. And we've had to be intentionally disciplined to stop, jumping in and dispelling the mystery.
Gotta have some mystery.
It's not always easy to do, but it's important because that mystery is key.
I mean, I've already been told that I should just get a staff and use that, and then not rest. So instead, I got a sword.
Interesting. Okay, interesting.
Oh, there's one of the thicket stalkers. Those are high.
Looks like
It's my level.
this small plague beetle has a fire beetle model, and it's going to need to change as soon as this fight's over. I'm going to actually hop in and update that model.
These are one of my favorite models, though. The beetles, with the glow, the ambient glow, especially with the new lighting pass. That, and for anyone who's been to
shield bar is throwing me off.
oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna just that's
probably death.
Yeah, that probably is. So that'll give me time just to well, here, I can try and kill this real quick.
Yeah, if we burn this down, then I should have enough mana to.
It's close. There we go.
All right, good. We'll just kind of recalibrate us here.
I'm gonna sit. Oh, you don't have. I think we're dead. Ooh, did I stand up?
The good news for us is that I have not retuned or updated the tuning for these stalkers yet.
Oh, okay.
I've typically been waiting on our model updates to go in and kind of recalibrate the NPCs as we go along. So these are still definitely easier.
Okay.
Than they're intended to be. So we might be okay here.
Well, speaking of the models, that's before we got so rudely interrupted by this panther. I was gonna say that some of the coolest models I've seen have been the one like the fire beetle, which glows, but also more recently in Mad Run, because I had to run over there just to see, right? Obviously, and even at my current level, I died there, but the spider eyes, the glowing spider eyes, are terrifying in the dark.
Oh yeah.
I think it adds.
Well, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I'm
glad to hear that.
The art team's been doing with the new models have been really good. I love, and like it makes me eager to see like what's going to happen with the panther and things like that. But the new NPC models have been really cool. And the little ambient glow of the beetle, even though this isn't the right beetle.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I would have to agree. I've been really pleased with the NPC models, and as we're moving into things like spiders, things like the orcs soon, things like the drawn ratkin, probably up there in my top 5 favorite concept art pieces. We're about to get attacked again here. Maybe not. It's.
Oh, I moved too. I got so scared. I was like, it must be behind me. No, it's.
It was stalking in the thicket. It was doing its thing very well. But yeah, probably one of my favorite concept art pieces has been for the drawn ratkin.
Okay.
And those will be seeing more of those soon enough. Because a lot of people don't realize that they're called drawn ratkin because they're drawn. Man, this thing is.
It's hitting hard.
Made the other one look like.
Yeah, I mean this one is higher level.
Yeah.
I think that's it. But I'll just crawl away. Oh no,
There you go.
that's one way.
You, an attempt was made, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's what matters, you know.
I will say the crawling away while being murdered by things adds a lot of insult to injury, but I kind of love it. It's great for recording footage, in all honesty.
Yeah, I bet. There's dramatic scenes. What I don't like, another one of my pet peeves is how when you die, when you're in near death and then you die, you stand up before you fall back over again, and that just drives me crazy. But yeah, it's an evolution of the Purple Club of giving you that opportunity to kind of more visually inhabit the experience of being near death, and we definitely liking the way that it feels gameplay wise. It too needs a little bit more dialing in to make it feel like you really are on the edge. It's a little bit too forgiving right now for my taste, but it's just, not high enough on the list right now to really dive into too much. But
This
it's
could
gonna be a nice mechanic.
this could be me misremembering or just putting stuff out there that's not true. But was there ever, or is there a plan for certain classes to have longer in that state, or is, like, say for example, a Dire Lord, or is that, am I just making that up in my head?
Not anything that is
Okay.
planned, no.
I don't know why I had that thought. Maybe I just wanted the Dire Lord to be stronger.
Just wanted my class to be cooler. Yeah, it's a good reason.
Oh, that's actually, so speaking of my class, are you open to suggestions on the Necromancer utility? Because I have this idea of turning your entire party into skeletons. They don't get turned back into anything. They are just now your pets. And that's the utility, because technically you're helping them move around.
Okay. You're helping them move around.
Without, yes,
Like just
by making them attack things that I want them to attack.
like walk. Okay, so we're talking like actual walking and
Yes,
and
yes.
running, that kind of moving around that
Yes.
they needed the help with.
And they
Yeah,
no longer need to worry about leveling. They're just essentially my pets.
Yeah. I'm always open to feedback. I'm always open to suggestions, ideas. This community's filled with people with really good ideas. So, yes, that one in particular, I need to kind of mull on a little bit. That's this
Food for thought.
Yeah,
Food for thought.
It is
Yeah.
food for thought. That is certainly a good way to think of it. But you are a Necromancer fan.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I actually, I don't know how aware you are of my whole MMO journey, but my first MMO was actually Ultima Online, which is where I learned how to not play a game, because I made potentially the worst class combination you can imagine through the skill system. And that's when I moved over to EverQuest. I actually didn't start as a Necromancer, though. I started as a warrior, and eventually a Shadow Knight, and only came back to Necromancer later on in the progression servers, and absolutely love the play style of the Necromancer, but also just the class fantasy, which has always been very important to me, is the feel of the class, that it feels weird. There's a bat behind us. Oh, it's indifferent to us. We're fine. Is
This
this?
forlorn apparition is formidable indeed.
It's yeah.
I kind of wish you were a Necromancer right now,
Me too.
so we could have a few more options here. That's cool. Okay, so what are you looking for in a Necromancer?
So for me, a Necromancer, like the glass feel has to kind of have that darkness feel to it, that, for lack of a better word, a selfish feel to it. I think one of the things that I wish had continued with the EverQuest Necromancer, but didn't, because it was so impactful in emergency situations, was the Screaming Terror ability, the CC ability. It was obviously not anywhere near what a bard or an enchanter could do, but it was one of those things. Oh no, something terrible is happening. We can do this real quick, but I also there's a cutoff, right? Like I'm using my mana for that. I can't dot. I can't do things like that. But the whole idea of a necromancer to me is that general, the decay, the almost vampiric feel to it, and of course, undead. Whether it's like things like lich or undead pets or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where's the snake? I love the snake animation. It creeps me out. Oh, one nuke too many.
All right. This I'm not feeling super confident at this very moment about how this is gonna go. That last nuke it did to me really helped kind of drive that home.
that was a bit intense. Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's what yep. So I can do. I was about to try and be all cool and wait, am I? I'm asleep. I am no longer asleep.
I'm just gonna go ahead and
Yeah, I think it's. I think this is done. Although I can show
plenty of time to get away.
I'll hold it off. Wait, no, I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna try and crawl the other way as like distract it.
It was a great idea. Yeah, it just somehow didn't work.
Maybe next time it will work though, for sure.
It will. Clearly, I think there was enough evidence there. The the necromancer, the selfish necromancer. So when it comes to undead, so there's different flavors of necromancer that have existed. There's necromancers like the EverQuest necromancer that were largely centered around skeletons. Then you've got necromancers that are all about dismembering corpses and putting these hideous like flesh beasts and constructs together and exploding corpses.
The Diablo.
Zombies and ghasts and ghouls and flesh constructs and all that stuff. So just my own personal curiosity, what flavor of necromancer scratches the itch for you?
For me, it's the skeletal necromancer. The the whole ghostly, the less gruesome, the more I don't want to say spiritual, but that kind of thing, like pulling, and I guess the skeleton can be gruesome too, but if I could put a color scheme to it, like this blue that's right here on the bind stone, instead of a green or a red. The Diablo necromancer is a good example because they kind of go in very different directions, right? So you have the blood oriented necromancer, you have the skeleton pet oriented necromancer, or you have the corpse explosion necromancer, and they're all valid flavors, but for me, that was the one that I would go with in that sense would be the skeleton pet necromancer. And there's something really fun about having at least an ability or something to send multiple skeletons at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe so. I can't think of a game that has necromancers that hasn't had that. Like EverQuest 2 does, EverQuest 1, Diablo. I don't remember in Vanguard. I played a ranger in Vanguard of all things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What is it? The fox, Vulpix.
That's a Pokemon, right?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think it had.
Vulpix.
Or Volmane or something like that. Yeah.
I think Volmane is the evolved form of Vulpix. Not to flex or anything.
Just flexing.
Because I could be wrong. I could
just flexing your nerd credit's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take the necromancer question a little bit deeper. So, We're in kind of the spiritual realm ish, the skeletal focus. Now, is this when you picture your kind of ideal necromancer? Are you resonating more with that kind of insidious, evil, cunning side, or are you more kind of the just driven towards like forbidden, forsaken knowledge and kind of feeling their way around in the dark a little bit?
I lean more towards like the insidious side, right? So when I think of like driven towards forbidden knowledge, I tend to think like, okay, well, like, the mad doctor that does dissections kind of thing, right? And so there's that school of necromancy. There's also just the gaining power through. Oh, that looks pretty. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract. I didn't seen the moonbeams before through the trees. That looks really pretty. Just remove my real quick. But yeah, the drive for power, the selfish drive for power, and the willingness to kind of take that in the form of like taking life from things to enhance their power, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're getting down into like kind of that real gnarly, like super insidious side of the necromancer. I remember resonating with that a lot in EQ, even though it's certainly not my personality in real life. But the something about, I remember it was heat blood that really kind of grabbed my imagination a little bit. And I remember I think it was level 8. I know the spell levels for casters in like classic EQ was 1, 4, 8, 12, 16 every 4 levels until you got up to level 29. And I think at level 8 you got heat blood, and at level 12, or maybe it was level 12, you got heat blood and heart flutter at the same time. But there was something about getting those 2 abilities and just this feeling of like, I'm able to burn your blood and make your heart flutter.
Yeah.
I really loved that and resonated with that. I think this thing's a pushover.
I agree.
We're gonna go ahead and take. Oh wait, he's friendly. He's friendly. Speaking of that deep, dark insidiousness, let's give him a pass.
The one that did that for me was the just siphoning life, right? This idea that
and the smile, beaming a smile at it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, the little emote thing that happened as you took their life to heal yourself,
and then just like smiled at them. Yeah. Redbeardflynn beams a smile at you. I feel much better now.
Bear. Oh, it's rabbit too. Oh, that's a big bear. I'm gonna
abandon me. I'm gonna check something over here really quick. It's just gonna take me a second.
Well, I'll make friends with the bear.
Yeah. If you could just, here, I'll summon you back to me.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to interrupt here for the giveaway because all you need to do at this point is put in the comment section below the following phrase: Necromancers are the best at unboxing. I'll go through the comments later after the premiere and pull the other one. For those of you that are on the premiere, you should have information on how to enter over there. We're giving away 2 pledges right now, and yes, you can enter both ways if you want to. You just cannot win more than one. In order to win these pledges, you will need to have a name registered on the forums with Pantheon, and I'll need your email address. So we'll get in touch after this. So good luck. And remember, the phrase is Necromancers are the best at unboxing.
I wanted to take us arcane beard flynn. That's it. I keep wanting to type Redbeardflynn, but
well, see, it's all like working towards my eventual greybeardflynn phase. So like I didn't think things through when I title my channel, so I got to be prepared. So I'm just preparing people.
Do you have a clean shaven Flynn?
that was not in like 20 years.
Okay, so it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Have you been back to this area?
I have not. I don't think I've seen this thing.
Okay, so this is it's a placeholder right now, but it's one of the wandering stone locations.
Oh.
But I don't know how many players have actually found this. This, if you're not familiar, Wandering Stone is one of the places where druids will be able to teleport to. It will be part of their network
Oh, that's cool.
of places. So it's it's placeholder, and it's got a ways to go until it's as majestic as it should be. And basically, when you come into an area like this for the Wandering Stone, expect something similar to like the Dragon Shrine area, where it looks really just pretty and kind of full of life and vibrant, and lots of atmospherics and stuff. And not many people actually try to talk to the Wander Guardian, but
The Grove and I greet you, traveler. I love it. And discovered a new faction of the Wander Guardians. That's awesome. That's great. I really love the Dragon Shrine area. And just the colors and the trees especially.
Yeah, I told when I was talking to CW about it, and talking with JN about it, one of my favorite games of all time, non-MMO, was Ghosts of Tsushima. I don't know if you've played it, heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet Christmas. It is it is an amazing game. For so many reasons, and a lot of it just impacts me personally because I'm a shinobi at heart, and it, that even though the samurai are not shinobi, and I'm aware of that, but
yeah.
man. But anyway, that game visually absolutely breathtaking, and one of the things they captured so well was the hot springs, and so you have these beautiful hot springs with these red, like really vibrant blood red Japanese maple trees, this really pretty looking water, and the atmospherics and the mist and all that. And so a big inspiration for these areas is that kind of exotic, a little bit like the fantasy dialed up quite a bit of that Japanese hot spring kind of a feel. And I think it turned out really, really well. I mean, palette is always an interesting thing to navigate, especially when you have lots of aesthetic-based systems with gloom and other fractures, and things like this water is red and it looks like blood, but it's not meant to be blood. It's so where do you ultimately land? We're going to get absolutely annihilated by these asps. I forgot they were up here, but
yeah. I was wondering, like, you've got a different way to get here that's safe. Apparently not.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm literally just.
I'm just gonna
I'm just gonna use
just to show everybody.
Yeah.
I tried to get some B-roll footage here.
Just use a GM cheat.
And this is exactly what happened.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's not meant to be an area you can just stroll up to. And it looks like somebody changed the time of day. You see, is that going on in the sky for you too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
It's
here we go. Ooh.
Going backwards.
Look at that.
That's actually really cool.
That's part of the environment up here. When you're standing here, time goes by much faster. That's not true. I don't know what's going on there. I'm tempted to think there's a GM in zone.
That's interesting.
But maybe not. The cool thing about this place, and I can't spoil it at all. It's a really significant. We call it the Dragon Head Shrine, but it's not really a dragon head. And in fact, once the actual model for this shrine is finished, it'll be clear that it's not a dragon. It's reptilian certainly, but it's not a dragon, and it's actually the likeness of a type of creature that exists on Terminus that is it's really deeply shrouded in mystery, but also points to things that we're planning post-launch, very, very significant kind of happenings in the world that are really kind of under lock and key right now. But I will say, the only thing I will say is not even sometime in the future, there are places in Halnir Cave with the same sculpture, the same likeness, and there's It's obviously that's on purpose, but there's a really significant connection with the location of these things, and then also the entity that they represent, or the entities that they represent. So really, really cool stuff. It's one of those hidden in plain sight things that we plan to have quite a bit of.
Yeah.
But it's much more than just a really pretty area. There's a lot of significance to it.
I love that. And like, so I don't know if you're aware, but I write books as well. And
Oh, nice.
one of the things that is kind of difficult is when, like, so you have this idea, but you need it to be drawn out. So you're like, okay, I want to plant the seeds for this now, but then knowing that it's not going to pay off story-wise until much later. And like, I can't even imagine that at the level of a game where you're building out, not just like, writing out things, but actually creating the link to something that'll pay off later. Like, that's got to be so intensely you want to share that to explain what this is, but then the urge to let it pay off as well has to be intense.
Yeah, it is. I think it is because of the open development nature. When you're building all these things behind closed doors, and then the day comes and it all kind of comes out, then it's all there for players to actively engage in. When you're building things out over time in front of people, and you're placing new things right in front of players, a good deal before all the pieces are in place for them to actually be able to uncover what it is. It is challenging at times, but yeah, it is very worth it. And it doesn't take long from this side of the table, from the developer side of the table, to see how consistently these things do pay off, because players are really good at finding the threads. And it's been a really fun part of this journey for us. And getting the perception system back in play, getting a lot of that content back in play is going to be just such an amazing moment for us again. It really is the lifeblood of this game.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
What can you tell everybody about that? Because like, for me, one of the first things, and I don't think even when I played the very first time, which was several builds ago, I believe, there was like, I got the pings, right? The sound and everything. And because I love lore, I love story, and it's one of the things that I thought, like, I love from the very beginning with Pantheon, that it found ways to feed you world lore that weren't just walls of quest text, that it was encouraging exploration of the world itself, to follow the breadcrumbs with the little ping and the sound. And that sound is in my head forever. And I only got to experience it like very briefly. But what can you tell us about that system and your expectations?
Well, what I can say is it is coming back. It's something that it was ultimately part of the refactor, because the way that we were handling all of the variables, the flags that the system needs to keep track of, was not ultimately going to be able to, like so many of the things that we had to revisit, it wasn't going to ultimately long-term be able to support, potentially thousands of different flags that players could accumulate uniquely over time, and keeping track and persisting that for, however many players we end up having. So it is coming back. The goal of the system is exactly what you described. It is to allow us to let the environment do kind of the work of getting players interested and hooked onto a thread. But the goal is to do it in a way that doesn't feel required, that doesn't feel linear, that doesn't feel like you're really having to go any which way or do any certain thing. Invisible wall there. Fun fact, I placed those invisible walls, and I don't even know where they
Did you place that bear? Because the bear found you.
I did not place that bear. I am going to destroy that bear.
It's a very large bear.
It is a large bear, and I'm not gonna loot it. 'Cause that feels wrong.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, but yeah, it's meant to do exactly that. I think recently I talked about how it's going to be approached in buckets, where the first piece coming back into play is going to be the interactable experience of the game, where there's going to be things, and the goal is that there would be many things in the environment with which you can interact with, you can click on, you can come into range of, and you're going to get information about that thing, or it's going to give you a clue about something in the environment, something interesting. That layer alone goes back to what I was talking about even earlier with things that I would love to have been able to experience in EverQuest. I would love to find some of those crazy places, or even not so crazy places, but just be able to kind of peer into it a little bit to get a sense of, what could this be? Even if it's not telling me outright, it's just giving me a little snippet. And that alone makes the world not only much more kind of rich, but it does kind of create this sense of like, I really want to run around and just see what's there to find. We had some really, really cool stuff set up in Halnir Cave, kind of in its last glory days, if you will, where players were able to experience it. And we had several groups that were high enough level and were skilled enough in the context of the environment to make their way really down deep in there. And there were some really cool things that they were able to find. I don't want to spoil any of it because it's all going to be coming back, but it was really, really validating for how much it can do to add depth to an experience like a dungeon run. And to hear those players in Discord channels and back channels kind of like talking about, man, this is so cool, this is so interesting, it just validated that we want to make really good dungeons, but that we want to make all of these cool little layers and secrets and threads that you can find in there. And the super cool thing about the perception system, and part of what makes it ambitious, is because we can leverage all those variables and flags based on your various interactions on your journey as a character, that's going to determine what things kind of open up for you. And that's so compelling to me. And to do it unapologetically, it's like, hey, this is your character's journey. Like, I'm not gonna apologize that you weren't able to 100% this, because it's going to be based on what you've done, and that's going to be valuable in its own right, because it's going to determine where you end up and what things you learn along the way. And that ideally, that coalescence of different players with different experiences and different pieces of the puzzle, being able to kind of broker information or share information, the kind of players that will become these career loreists, where they pride themselves on what they are able to learn and glean and find out about the game. And then whether that's through content creation outside of the game, or whether that's through setting up player events in game, where they gather people around and tell stories and insights. Like there's so many cool things that I'm hoping to see kind of bear fruit from that system, which is why I really view it as kind of a lifeblood thing that the game depends on to have the depth that we want it to have, and that longevity I was talking about earlier. So I get really passionate about that system. That's really important.
It's great to, because it's so important to me. It was one of the things that really drew me to Pantheon in the first place. Like I still remember when I was a kid. Oh, you can see some of the spider. Oh, what is that thing?
I was gonna say, do you want to?
Oh shit!
Talk to it.
Talk to it?
I would not do that. I actually wouldn't talk to it. No.
I have not seen that before. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, I
don't want to get too close, but oh no!
Okay, there. Yep. It's fine.
Look, you know what? He's friendly.
Yeah.
Look, but you know what? Here, That was just to get a good look. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the Dusk Fiend is actually a part of speaking of the perception system, he's part of a really, really cool storyline in Demeth that ultimately leads you to the Dusk Fiend, and there's a lot of really cool things that it reveals about Avenger's past, Demeth, some of the major movers and players in Demeth. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. That was, I mean, even though I'm dead, I still love that. That was so cool. Like, I'd never seen that before. Sorry, I got really distracted. But,
yeah, no, it's a great moment.
One of the things that, like, I was saying about, like, the way that, you know, feeding lore to you and things like that is, I still remember, and I consider it like a key part of my journey as a person. When I was a kid, I was in middle school, I think, at the time, and I would go with EverQuest, and I'd go to their website and download the all the information on the gods, and I would take it to school, and I would sit in my class, my Spanish class, and read about them, and just read about all how they intermingled, how they worked, how all the things, the lore that they gave us, and it made me more interested in the game itself, and wanting to learn more about it. And then so like having that, and then eventually when you got to see Inaruk or Khazak-Thul, it made that much more impactful. And you know, I mean, that led me into reading Greek mythology, and then fantasy, and then writing, like, and that all came from just a little bit of lore in an MMO. And so I think it's so important to make the game feel alive, to be able to feed that. And I think when it's done through quest text only, it makes it more difficult for a larger swath of people to get into it. But the personal experience I had, which I think wasn't even a fully complete thread, and I won't give any crazy details about it, but one ping led to another ping, and it's bite-sized, and you got to read it, and you were exploring, and you were trying to find things as you went through the world, and so you're part of the exploration of it. And that, I think, is what made me so excited for that system, because it feeds lore in a way that is consumable to people that may not consume it otherwise, but also feeds lore in a way that is consumable to people that would love lore in a very interactive way, that, you know, you can guide yourself that way.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Yeah, I mean, just as an example of what you just described, there's a place in Avenger's Pass that is part of that whole Dusk Fiend progression that, you know, you're not told where to go, you're not told who to talk to, but you're given some clues that that give you the context you need. So when you do find this little thicket with a bunch of trees that are broken and fallen over, it's meant to kind of trigger in your mind, oh yeah, like somebody mentioned that there was an area, you know, near the village where there seemed to be a very intense struggle, and the person remembers some broken trees and some gashes, some like claw gashes in the bark. And sure enough, when you find that area and you actually go over to it, you get a perception ping that, you know, kind of gives you that next little oomph, that little clue, and then you can interact with, you know, some of the broken trees in the area, and it's this very experiential way of you know, finding yourself kind of caught up in a storyline and following the threads as you see fit. And I can't say enough about how excited I am about what that system and the way that we're doing it adds to the game. So
even as a content creator, MMORPGs are notoriously kind of difficult to make content around, right? But something like that adds the same kind of like exploration and story that you get in an RPG, which makes me very excited. That wraps it up. That is the final part of this interview that I got to do with Chris Joppa Perkins of Visionary Realms. I want to extend a special thank you to Chris Joppa Perkins for taking so much time with me, and Ben Dean Y'all were fantastic, and I am honored that I got this opportunity. Again, as I said in the very first part of this video, the first part of this 3-part series, thank you to you, every single one of you, because in a lot of ways, this was the culmination of a content creator dream, getting to do the thing that inspired me when Co-Carnage did it with Pantheon, with Chris Joppa Perkins. So thank you so much for all of the support over the years that I've been making this channel. You are the reason why I was even on their radar. So thank you very much to anyone who has ever watched anything that I've ever put out, including some of the cringiest shit that I've done. Thank you so much. My name is greybeardflynn, and I will see you all again soon. I hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, and before I forget, this is where Joppa left me after our interview.
Redbeardflynn beams a smile at you.
Yes.
I feel much
Oh
better
shit,
now.
bear. Oh, it's rabbit too. Oh, that's a big bear.
I'm gonna
Abandon me.
I'm gonna check something over here really quick.
Truly devious.